Do you know who made it or why they were made?
There's something about that axe, guys.
Yes, I killed a fire giant carrying one of these as well.
Am I dumb? What's that?
Like, can we not go in his pocket or something?
Timelines diverged, and there was one where Doran was whole.
It's not me. It's just not me.
You were the worst.
Can you tell us what your AC is?
You may not like to watch this part.
Be ready when we return for to kill giants. Okay?
Do you need a moment to think?
Welcome back to Dice Shame. This is episode 74, Info Dump.
MVP this week is Jay Frostguard on Twitter for their amazing review of Dice Shame, and for saying that Red is hilarious.
If you're looking for a unique gift idea that will also transport your favorite beverage to your mouth, listen closely. Our lovely friend James Schwartz is also a very talented potter who's got a gorgeous selection of hand-thrown mugs, bowls, teapots, and more. I recently commissioned a set of 3 unique mugs for our family, and Harlan can attest that I don't really drink coffee out of anything else anymore. It's a self-gift. For beautiful, one-of-a-kind items, visit his ceramic shop on Etsy. That's etsy.com/shop/jschwartzart. That's unfortunately case-specific, guys. Capital J, capital S, CHWARZ, capital ART.
All right, shall we do this?
Yeah, let's do it. Been playing this game of Dungeons and Dragons virtually for the past year or so, but it just makes me really wish that we had a chance to play on a map with minis again. Do you guys remember when you used to cram into this room with minis for your,
It's
true.
your little characters? And I built that 2-tiered map for us.
I mean, I'm still in the room with you, so yeah, I'm still happy.
It counts.
Yeah, it counts.
Have you guys ever painted minis for yourselves?
Yeah, I've done 1 or 2, and I wasn't terrible. It's too like
It is.
detailed for me.
It is, but I love doing it because it's very meditative at the same time. I can just put hours and hours.
So do you paint minis regularly?
No, not regularly, but I had in university. I painted a couple minis for Chris's campaign.
Nerd.
Cool.
Yeah, I know.
I painted a bunch of Warhammer minis in high school, but it's not fun for me. It's just not the right kind of relaxing. I'm in that gulf where I'm not good enough at it I just don't like it. I don't know.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. It's not satisfying enough, and it's not like, to me, it just becomes a bit It's funny because I tried it. Like, we bought a paint set and we're like, okay, cool. And I sat down, we did it, and it looked good. And I was like, I don't want to do this again. This is like,
But I love having them. I love like I think minis are really cool. I think that there's something really.
We'll send them to Justin and he'll paint them all.
Hey,
Oh no! I don't have time to paint them. I just like it when I do.
To me, it's similar. Some people really like puzzles, and to me, I'm knife edge with puzzles. Sometimes I enjoy them, and sometimes I'm like, this is too time consuming for the result. I don't
Let's do
enjoy
a
it.
puzzle. Let's stop playing D&D right now and do a jigsaw puzzle.
It's puzzle time.
Record a podcast of us putting together a puzzle.
That would be so
I think
boring.
this is the right one.
There must be a puzzle podcast.
Oh, edge piece.
Where you just shoot the shit
I got
around
a
a puzzle.
Greeny blue piece with a sheep on it. Anyone?
Anybody?
I got a corner.
that's me.
Let's get the corners.
I'm doing the blue part.
So here's something I must admit. So I got this mini of Doran made, right? By Anvil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And my son was sitting on my lap
Oh
a
no.
little while ago, and he's like, "Can I play with that?" And I said, "Yeah, but don't move him. He doesn't move." So like, and I'm working or whatever, right? And I look over, and he's got tears in his eyes, and he's about to. He's crying, and I said, "What's wrong?" He says, "I broke it."
Oh.
He broke the axe head off.
Oh.
He's just holding a stick.
Yeah, and I was like, "Yeah." So now Doran's just got
Orc splitter.
his fighting stick.
Orc splitters split.
He was just so upset about it. I was like, "It's okay. It's okay."
He knew it was special to
I'm
you.
like, "It's broken now. It's never going back. It is now broken. You will never ever." No, I'm just kidding.
Irreparably.
No dinner tonight. Go to bed.
Like my heart. This was more important to me
What
than
a
you
guy.
are.
Timelines diverged, and there was one where Doran was whole, and there's one where Doran's broken, and this is where we are now.
Aw.
These aren't toys. They're minifigs.
That's right. We're not playing with toys here. We're real serious adults.
Exactly.
It's not a game.
You guys want to play some imaginary games?
Nice.
So you're traveling through the forest with this huge frost giant. He's introduced himself as Harshnag. He's mentioned to you that he's no enemy of the small folk. though he's been hunted by these dwarves before. He's shortened his stride for you to allow you to keep up with him. And the morning is wearing on. You're heading deeper into the forest with him.
Are these your woods? Do you reside here?
No, I don't reside anywhere. I'm a traveler. Been hunting giants.
Hey, we know that feeling, friend. We're a bit of the same.
You've been hunting giants?
Yes.
Doran's mind is suddenly distracted from his thoughts.
So, what can you tell us about the Ordning?
Well, it used to be a caste system, with storm giants at the top, cloud giants, frost, fire, stone, hill, and then Etin, other lesser creatures, but it's been broken months ago. All giants felt it simultaneously.
What broke it?
Harshnag drops to one knee in front of you, Kraloth, in the snow. He picks up a huge handful of it and sniffs it delicately. And then he crushes it into like a giant snowball with both hands. Anum, the All-Father, is God above all giants, and he created us. And in creating us, he set us apart from each other, and he breaks off a hunk of this snowball, and he sets it to one side. Storm giants, the highest of giant society, they employ monarchy system. He breaks off another piece of this snowball and sets it aside. Cloud giants, aristocrats, they value extravagance above all. Fire giants, well, they form rank based on forging ability. Frost giants value martial prowess above everything. This ball of snow is getting smaller and smaller. He's breaking it apart into little pieces. Stone giants are mysterious and xenophobic. Little is known about their society by outsiders. Even other giants find them difficult to understand. Hill giants are gluttons, dullards, putting most stock in the largest. Bigger is better. And then he looks at his little army of snow figurines, each of them about as tall as one of you, and he, with a sweep of his hand, crushes them all into the surrounding snow and stands back up, wiping his hands on his armor. Anum, the All-Father, unsettled more than just the Ordning these past few months. All giants know innately that the Ordning has been broken, but I don't know why yet. However, I do know that these giants are in an uproar. It has been said that the Storm Giant Court has all but lost its head.
Who is its head?
And he continues traveling through the woods. He looks down at you, Jack, walking beside him. King Hecaton and Queen Neri. Rumors tell that the king and queen are missing. That turmoil engulfs the Storm Giant Court. That they've left their citadel, leaving their daughters in charge. Like all other giants, it seems that chaos has taken hold. This order, such as it was, is no more. It's possible now that even the stupidest hill giant could see themselves as potential ruler of all giants if only they were able to show themselves worthy to their god, to Anum.
Huh. The daughters of King Hecaton and Queen Neri, do you know their names? Where's their citadel?
I don't know.
Okay.
And how do you know this? Do you speak with Anum the All-Father?
No, he has been silent. You say that you're sent to reordern the giants?
Yes.
What does that mean?
We don't know exactly. All we know is that we are integral to the reordering.
Zephyros, a cloud giant wizard, found us, and that was his supposition based on his contact with other planes, and that's sort of how we've got thrown together on this path. We were pretty worried because there's an obelisk at Nightstone that's a place my friend used to live. It was taken by cloud giants. Does any of that ring a bell, or any reason why they might want this Nightstone?
Harshnag starts to walk more slowly with hunched shoulders. His footfall's quiet, and he starts to stalk through the snow like a cloud in the sky. And he takes the bow off of his back and strings it. He's speaking now more quietly. No, I don't know anything specifically about a Nightstone, But that would make sense given a cloud giant would be interested in magical artifacts.
So, again, we were speaking with Zephyros. We'd spotted the castle that Zephyros thought belonged to the Countess Sansuri in the clouds flying in this area. Have you run across her or her castle or know what she might be up to? And maybe Jack will pull up a map and kind of have it try and float 5 feet above his head to just sort of point at all the giant things we know about so he can sort of get a sense of where we are and what we're doing.
Jack, as you're busy casting this map and making sure that all the details are accurately portrayed and concentrating on this spell, a giant quadruped crests the ridge of a hill in front of you, browsing the tops of nearby fir trees. Its heavy winter coat does nothing to disguise the impressive musculature of this massive animal, its rack of horns branching some 12 feet. A giant elk. These rare animals inspire legend among many communities of the north. This one is particularly big. It's the size of a small cottage. And Jack, as you finish this illusory map and look up, you see this elk's ears twitch once. It raises its head, and then an arrow sprouts out of its chest. The magnificent animal just reels and takes a couple of running steps and then collapses heavily in the snow. And Harshnag leaves your side, muttering to you, "I don't know anything about a countess."
Okay.
Wow. Harshnag, the Green Dragon told us that you could show us the spine of the world. What is that besides a temple of Allfather? And why would you be the one to show us it? What lies there?
He's walking over to this kill of his hunt.
Good shot.
Yeah, really.
And he says, "Worries me that you heard this from a green dragon, but maybe what it said was wisdom. I think it would be a good idea to go to the Eye, to speak with Anam. He's been quiet so long about his plans for his people. So much of giantkind is in an uproar, and if what you say is true, that you're meant to help with the reordering, then we should find out how. We can consult with the Oracle and learn how to best end the giant's threat in the north."
So at the spine of the world, we can talk to Anam?
Maybe. If he deems us worthy. I can take you there.
Wow. Yeah, I guess knowing why we're here and what all this is about, yes, absolutely, yes.
Have you spoken with him yourself?
Harshnag kneels in the snow beside the dying giant elk and slits its throat with a dagger, blood coursing out onto the snow and raising tendrils of steam. "No, haven't spoken with Anam personally, but it is told that you can."
Doran kneels down and smells the fresh blood. Something about an animal's blood. He takes his finger and dips it in and licks it, and then wipes his brow with it.
And then wipes his beard with it.
You know, this is answering so many questions that I've had for so long. Very, very impressive to meet you, Harshnag.
Yes, it is.
It's overwhelming and awesome to meet someone like you. And I just, when we were fighting Chief Guh at Grudhog and took her down, we ended up finding this conch shell. Do you recognize this shell? Does it mean anything to you? We think it transports us somewhere.
And I pull it out and I show.
And Jack's trying to do it in a way just to connect with this guy at all, to be like, well, maybe if we show off we're badass and we killed a chief hill giants or something.
Maybe that's what transports us to Anam.
The shell could take you to the king, to his court.
Where the two sisters are left in charge.
Yes.
And then as Jack is holding up the conch, Red reaches into the bag and pulls out the coin that we got from the box. And he also says, "What about this? Do you recognize this?"
He just shakes his head, and he looks into each of your faces. "You may not like to watch this part." He takes out a sharp skinning knife, and he makes an incision on the elk's belly, and its innards just start spilling out all over the snow.
My gut feel is this isn't worse than anything Doran's done in front of us for a
I was just about
feel.
to say, yeah, Doran literally just licked the blood on this thing.
Red, while you're digging around in that bag, pull out the Rod of the Vonendad, too. We took this off a fire giant. We know it detects adamantium things. I don't know what a Vonendad is, but the fire giants seem to be really interested in it. Does any of that ring a bell?
He nods knowledgeably. Yes, I killed a fire giant carrying one of these as well. It is not a unique item.
Well, don't make it feel mundane. It was a lot of work.
Doran kind of looks at the giant, pointing at the dead elk, and says, may I?
No. No, you may not.
Oh.
Just like lightly smacks you away and Doran flies into a tree.
Yeah.
But you don't know what the fire giants are doing or what Avanandad is?
This I don't know.
You said that you were hunting giants. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that's been like? What kind of giants have you run into?
I've killed stone, hill, fire, and frost.
Frost as well, your own kind.
Oh, yes. Most of the frost giants that I know are among the most evil and vicious creatures on this planet.
Where do you think your path diverged from them?
Since I was born.
Oh, yeah?
I know that feeling, brother. There's been rumblings. Ever since our conversation with the Green Dragon, I've had a creeping suspicion that perhaps there's something stronger behind this. The war between the dragons and the giants has been a long-fought one, and we've had a suspicion that perhaps a dragon is behind all of this. Do you have any knowledge or thoughts on which dragon that might be, or who could be behind all this? And I sort of gesture to the dragon's skull on his head.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this is something that Red specifically stated to you guys, so maybe he sort of looks at the others. This is something that he's been percolating on since Everland.
You speak well, Red. There is no love lost between giants and dragons. It's curious that you were directed to me by a dragon.
Yeah.
Is there any great and powerful dragon that could want to see this ordering come apart? That comes to mind.
Many of them, I'm sure, would love to see the downfall of dragonkind.
You seem to be alone here. Do you have any allies? Other giants or communities among the small folk who've been helping you in your cause to stop or thwart aggressive giants?
I occasionally find help with the small folk, though most of the giant kind that I encounter are evil. As you might imagine, most communities fear me, and so I don't enter towns and cities, apart from Waterdeep occasionally.
Does trying to picture this person in Waterdeep ring any stories or things that I might have known being a kid from there?
Maybe in passing, you wouldn't have encountered him personally necessarily.
Okay.
I've been having a dream about craggy purple rocks. It's along a coast, a shattered jewel of a coast. Scrubby trees and humans with bronze skin. They throw a child into the water and they seem to have gills. I know it sounds a little far-fetched, but does any of that mean anything to you?
Sometimes dreams contain deep knowledge, little one. But I know no such place. I'm at home here in the cold north. He's like pulling the guts out of this animal and laying it out on the snow and tying this carcass up into a bundle, sort of hefting it up on his one shoulder.
So what's the trek to the spine of the north going to be like, do you think?
Well, for me, I can get there easily, but for you small folk, it would be quite a problem.
How do you mean?
Is it closer to Mirabar?
Much closer. It's the far north.
Well, we have a quick way of getting to that city, at least.
What do you mean?
We have access to teleporter with the Harper Mages in Everland that we can use.
And I think I've got the map up in front of us and highlighted the 5 circles that I think are connected with some sort of symbol on them and annotating this conversation we've been having. And so as Red mentions the circles, I'll sort of add them to the map.
I could meet you in Mirabar in 8 days.
That would be lovely, yes.
Okay.
And I sort of look towards Jack, who must be elated a little bit because I know Torin's still on your mind.
Yeah. The sad fact is, so yeah, we could go to Waterdeep, but we'd have to leave before the Feast of the Moon, which is the big holiday, to get to Mirabar in 8 days, because I think that doesn't add up. Which is the one Torin was like, you should come home for the holidays. And you're like, yeah, I would love to. So I'll come home for a few days, but leave before the holiday. All right, work,
Aww.
On Octar 25th. We will meet you there.
Whose skull is that? And I point to his head.
He touches it briefly with a thoughtful, air of reminiscence. An old enemy.
This conch of teleportation, the shell, do you know who made it or why they were made or why they would take someone to the court of King Hecaton?
To meet with the king, I would presume.
And are they given to each of the heads of the giant tribes?
I know there exists at least one among the frost giants.
Where's that one?
I don't rightly know.
What would we need to be worthy of Anum's audience?
If you are who the cloud giant said you are, audience would be granted.
We're going to get there, and there's going to be like an elven woman, a human fighter, and they're like talking.
Like a much more...
Different crew of people that Zephyros picked up like a day after you and was like, you guys are the people. He's been doing this like for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
These are the Moonshake crew, and that's the Tethir crew, and here's...
I'm so sorry.
No, but they're actually the heroes, and we're the ones that are faking it. Like, we're like, he's not talking to us. You mentioned there was an oracle. Is there someone up there? Can you tell us more about them?
In a minute.
Oh, he's got his notes out
We're
again.
asking the good questions because she has to look up the book.
Let me think.
No,
I feel like there are questions that I have, but I can't think of them.
you're not allowed to think, Doran. No think.
You don't get paid to think.
Act.
Doran is stupid.
I think about this actually. Like I'm watching Jack and Red taking notes, and I think that there is some value for a podcast for being the person who isn't taking notes, who just forgets everything, so that when these questions come up, like after 30 episodes,
We're not all bumping shoulders.
Thanks for justifying.
See, we're doing a service, Alex.
I also love that, Justin, you're like, new year, new notes. I'm taking notes. I got my pencil and notepad, lasted 1 or 2 recording sessions, and here we are.
I love it.
Yeah.
So-
I left it on my bookshelf back there.
Behind you? I can't spin around now.
It's not me. It's just not me.
It's like those resolutions.
That's a New Year's resolution classic.
That is. It really is.
2 weeks in, you're like, meh, this is useless. The giant lords of Astoria would go to the eye of the world for divine wisdom, to speak with the oracle. I don't know what kind of a presence this oracle is.
She an old black lady who makes cookies?
Probably.
I mean, that's kind of the cliche, right? Astoria. Am I dumb? What's that?
That's the old giant kingdom with the O, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one that the dragons fucked up, I think.
Yep.
So we're gonna go and meet him at the spine of the world, but like in Miramar or whatever.
Malamar.
So you're going to
Malabar,
fast travel
but-
to Mirabar,
We're going to fast travel to Waterdeep.
Malamute.
Spend a couple of days.
Like, can we not go in his pocket or something to travel with him? Or
Why would we want to go 8 days when we could just go back to Everland and zap there?
Are there any major threats that you know about? Maybe bases of operations from the various different clans of giants?
The frost giants are spread throughout the north, but a large concentration of them is present in the sea of moving ice. We are a seafaring race.
Can I just say, that's fucking awesome. And Sea of Moving Ice, what a great name, guys. You Faerunians really do it cool with the names. Back in Mastica, it's called Tall Tall Treeland. Or Sandy Sandy Boo Boo. That's the desert.
Yes, even the dwarves call things very simply like the deep, deep chasm. And that dark, dark chasm.
And the deep, deep, deep chasm.
And then there's the deep, dark chasm.
Deep rock. Stone rock and deep chasm. Deep.
so Doran pipes up and he says,
What have you heard as far as where King Hecaton and Queen Neri have gone? Is there any rumor about why they're missing or where they've gone to?
The queen went missing first, and then the king.
How many daughters are there?
3 daughters.
3 daughters. But what are they doing in their absence?
Ruling, as far as I know.
If things aren't going too well right now, they're probably not ruling very well.
Do you have any magic items that you want to give us?
He hefts his axe and looks down at it fondly. No.
Oh, is that a magic axe?
Yes.
Cool.
This is Gert's great axe.
Ooh.
And Jack, you actually recognize that name. This is a magical great axe that was given to this heroic creature by the city of Waterdeep many decades ago when he came to the defense of the city.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That's a gift from Waterdeep, right?
It is the only civilization that can tolerate me.
It's my hometown. I don't know if you know Mascar Wands or
He shakes his head.
They cowered in fear while I... in fact, he shit himself.
Jesus.
Just like really excited. Like, we were part of that. You were the worst.
Jack, you know that this great axe deals extra damage to human targets. It's like it fucks up human creatures.
Yo, who the fuck in Waterdeep gives a giant an axe that does more damage to them? Here, giant, now you can kill us real good.
There's something about that axe, guys. I don't know if you guys are feeling this too, but I get real bad vibes from that
looking
axe.
at me. Wait, is it humans or humanoid?
Humans. Like,
Okay.
Kraloth's the only one who's
I'm good.
like given the heebie-jeebies.
Doesn't bother me. It bothers half of Jack. My lower half is tingling.
Hey, can you tell us what your AC is? We're going to be going up against some other frost giants, and
He just shrugs and he's like, it's very good.
yeah, I can imagine.
As night begins to fall, Harshnag leads you to a narrow escarpment that splits the crust of the snow along a stand of cedar trees. He builds a decent-sized bonfire and sets to work skinning the giant elk. And here now, Doran, he turns to you and nods, inviting you to join in. It's a lot of work, even for a giant.
He kind of stands up and Doran begins to carve out large man-sized pieces of steak, elk steaks.
He's got a set of giant-sized skinning knives, long-bladed and sharp, and he spreads the skin out on sharpened tree limbs near the fire to dry. Then he starts preparing the meat for himself, and you take care of the cuts for you, Doran.
Do you mind if I take a couple of those slabs there, Doran?
In fact, what I'm doing, I'm cutting them and saying,
I think, Kraloth, you'd be better at preserving these.
Oh, yeah, of course. And Kraloth already has his like drying rack out with different salts and
That's awesome.
yeah. ready
And
to
Doran
make
cuts
jerky.
off some bite-sized slices for those who want the raw elk meat.
And I think while the others are a bit distracted and sort of going about what they're doing, Red sits down next to Harshnag. And I've had a trait for a long time called Favored Enemy, which allows me to know information about giants and things like that. And we just haven't had a reason that Red knows about it. But I think Red would love to pick his brain, having fought so many giants, and just ask him questions like, you know, what are some of the weaknesses a fire giant would have? And what are some of the benefits to killing a hill giant? And just sort of pick his brain about what various things, just to better inform Red, so that next time we're hunting one, he can sort of call out places to hit.
Cool.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly.
He holds his hand out to you, and you see it blue and white in the firelight, and he turns it over, and he says, I will never be impeded or damaged in any way by frost or ice, for the cold does not bother frost giant. And yeah, he tells you as much as you can think of, as
Cool.
much as you can ask to know.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Great.
So I suppose in the morning, we will go our separate ways and meet you in 8 days in that northern city, Malamar.
Mirabar.
I'll take you as far as Everland, and then yes, we'll part ways.
If we've got an hour this evening while people are making dinner and stuff,
We do.
Doran, maybe we should send a letter to the captain just to make sure he doesn't wonder what happened to us. You know, something that leaves the impression that you know, our deal of he should sit tight and not be a terrorist for a couple of months is still in impact, even though we've left. If you want to just transcribe something to say to him, I can transmit that image in a letter to him, and he'd see it just as you presented it.
Yeah, of course. I think that would be a great idea. Great idea.
So just say to me exactly what you'd like to say to him, and I will send that in a letter.
Okay. Here we go. Chaos Hammer. It's the Nightstone 4. Be ready. When we return for to kill giants. Okay.
Do you need a moment to think?
So I'm going to do a minor illusion of exactly that back and give you like a, do you want to redo?
yeah, do that.
Like a little like Microsoft assistant shows up on the side of your parchment and is like, I think you mean to say.
If you are happy with your message.
Are you sure you want to send? There is no subject line. It looks like you've made some spelling mistakes.
Okay. Maybe we could say
we might go back and forth a few times to get like the perfect message Doran's comfortable with. But
okay, all right. Here, how about this? Captain Chaos Hammer. No sign of a frost giant after all.
And Doran kind of looks around, nodding for others.
Harshnag winks.
Others' approval.
Yeah, I yell.
We have taken the opportunity to attend to the business with King Harneth. Be prepared to battle with giants upon our return. And with respect to that other matter, you'll have my response shortly.
And he kind of grumbles that and mumbles it without giving too much attention.
What other matter?
Jack.
It's nothing. It's a personal discussion. It's nothing. Don't worry about it, Jack.
Jack presses his face up to you.
Can I roll insight? I'm not good at it, but...
If Rob's rolling insight on you, then yeah, you'd have to, it's a contested roll. You would roll deception.
Use your inspiration.
12.
I got a 6, so you're fine.
I would not have beat that without using my inspiration.
The one thing I would say is instead of no sign of a giant, just nothing but tracks. Something like that.
Yeah, we don't need to lie. Because it's just an illusion I'm going to create, you don't actually need to say it again. I can just like play back whatever I want. I can make you say anything.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me uncomfortable.
Because it's illusory.
What did we talk about again?
Yeah.
What was that conversation we had, Chaos Hammer? Can you repeat that?
Do deep fakes.
The note will be a transcription of what Doran says, and it will have this little minor illusion of Doran speaking it.
Yeah, and Red watches you edit it, and he walks in and he's like, hold on. You can have anyone say anything?
Well, the illusion that goes with it can, the letter will still be things I've written on the page, but we can include maps or pictures or whatever we want with them.
You could have Chaos Hammer apologize to the king in a letter, is what I'm not saying I would do that, but you could have someone say that? I
mean, I think the letter would still be coming from me, but we could show an illusion of what Chaos Hammer might look like apologizing, and I'll show Chaos Hammer just being like, I'm a big derp, and a little illusion in my hand, and be like, I mean, yeah, it's just illusions. I know exactly what he looks like when he was talking to us. I can fake it all right. I mean, it's way better when it's a genuine thing. I'm not very good at lies.
Interesting. If you turn bad, Jack, you could do a lot of damage.
He's going to be our next big bad.
I mean, he might be the big bad.
Yeah. Dun, dun.
Everyone goes to sleep in Liamon's tiny hut. Harshnag is kind of splayed out by the fire nearby as it burns to ashes. Red, you're walking on a beach in the dark. You hear the sounds of waves beating against the shore. You feel the drag of the ocean at your feet. The moon hangs brightly in the sky, round and beautiful. It turns into a coin and drops, flipping, and you catch it in your palm. The wooden token bearing a painted golden goose is spinning on its edge. You feel the pull of the water as waves crash over your feet. Sea foam and shells blazing brightly in the dark. A piece of slippery kelp touches your ankle, wraps around your leg, and you are tripped. You taste salt, maybe even blood. The rush of water, and you're pulled down deep into the sea. The coin is back in the sky, and it fades from sight as you are dragged into the black water. When you wake up, blood crusts your cheek. You've bitten your lip quite badly.
And Red sits up, and he's actually outside of the tent in the snow, and he's holding the coin in his hand so tightly that his nails are digging into his own palm. And he just opens his hand loosely and puts the coin away and stands up and heads back to the tent, sort of like in a stupor, and goes back to sleep.
Meanwhile, Doran's been having his own nightmares.
Ooh, what are you dreaming about?
The sounds of battle ring in my ears. Thunder and lightning surround me. I'm with my friends, Kraloth, Red, Jack, B, and Orin in a circle. They are dancing, singing, laughing. The sounds of battle ring deafening in my ears, though. I look up to see the shadow of a cliff against the lightning-lit cloudy sky. As another lightning strike flashes, the peak of the cliff explodes with flames, and light flashes the face of Kremlot, my ex-goblin wife. Through a cloud of smoke, the peak of the mountain comes crashing down upon myself and my party of friends as I wake suddenly in a cold sweat, gasping for air. It's dark. I tell myself it's just a dream and I go back to sleep.
So everyone has kind of a hard night. Harshnag doesn't seem to have noticed. You see that Harshnag's got this skin that's now been cured by the fire, and he's rolling it up and strapping it onto his pack.
Red wakes up and starts rolling up his bedroll, and he's got this sort of, concerned look on his face. And I feel like he looks over to Doran, who's doing the same. And they both have like the same look.
Yeah.
And then both sort of lie. We're like, oh, tough night's sleep.
Yeah, rocky ground here.
Yeah.
And he pushes his bedroll into his bag.
Yeah, that's all it was. And we both stand up and walk out of the tent trying to hide our... Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I know we've got a couple of downtime days between now and needing to be in Mirabar. I'm really hoping to go to Waterdeep. I don't want to presume that you guys would all necessarily come with me if you have something else you want to do in the next couple of days, but I did get a letter from Doran suggesting there was a fake Kieran there, and I need to go make sure he's okay.
Kieran, who's sitting beside you, shakes their head with reproach. How dare they?
That's how I feel, buddy.
I'm with you.
I mean, Jack, to me, it comes down to whether you want us there or not. We're happy to support you if you need us. We're a team.
I mean, you can find worse places to kill some time than Waterdeep.
That's definitely true. I'm sure Oren and B would love to go back and visit it.
Yeah, maybe. She was actually around Waterdeep probably longer than all of us.
Well...
All right, Jack. You're fucking Waterdavian. We get it.
It's a pretty great city. The break we got at the High Forest at Shadowtop Cathedral was really lovely, but it rang kind of hollow for me. I wouldn't mind feeling a little homesick. I wouldn't mind spending some time around Waterdeep if we've got it.
I could also go for some population.
Well, then it's settled. Let's go back to Everland, hop through the portal. We're going back to Waterdeep. Thank you once again to our Patreon supporters, Christopher Ryan Evans, Mitchell Cadwell, Jessica Orrit, Colin Burkhardt, Daniel, Doug, Katie Orrit, and Merlin. See you soon!